are competing in the all-around at the World Cup Gymnastics Championships in Zagreb, Yugoslavia, on the high bar. Here's the way Kurt Thomas called it at the time.
It's an extremely difficult high bar routine. There's a stem to a stalder. Now watch this. He'll let go with one arm, do a reverse giant, pirouette over the top to another one-arm giant. Now here's his release move, a reverse hecht. No problem so far. Kip cast to a handstand. Stoop into inverted giants. Requirement on horizontal bar. Now preparing for his dismount. Triple back somersault. Stick landing after 10-0 for Li Ning.
Li Ning perfect that day, and today he'll be joined by many of the world's greatest gymnasts at the World Cup Gymnastics Championships in Yugoslavia as we take a look at the men's individual finals on ABC's Wide World of Sports. 1984 Winter Olympics, and the Cathedral of Zagreb is the centerpiece of this vista. It's a city with a rich and storied past, which is reflected in its architectural style and customs. Located in northern Yugoslavia near the Austrian border, public squares and parks abound, and this one is tied to the west, Roosevelt Square, named in honor of FDR. It's also the cultural and sports center of the region of Croatia, and it's in this building, the Sports Hall, where the attention is focused today on gymnastics. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Al Michaels, and in Zagreb today we'll be taking a look at the men's individual finals of the World Cup. The all-around competition has already been held. Li Ning of China won it handily, captivated the crowd, and thereby established himself as the early favorite to win it all in the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Now, the competitors will be carrying in their marks on each individual apparatus from the all-around competition, so half of the mark has been earned already. Should be a most exciting afternoon. Our own former world champion is with us, Kurt Thomas, and what are you looking forward to today, Kurt?
Well, the individual event finals differ from the all-around competition in that they determine the best gymnast on any given apparatus. So we should see a very good show today. We have our American guys in the individual event finals, and that should be exciting in itself.
First American we'll see is Jim Hartung of Nebraska, who carries in a score of 9.8.
Well, Jim will mount with a triple twister. This is a new skill for him, and he had some difficulty with it earlier. That's a nice turn out of it, no problem, no real deduction. Completed a triple twist. Now his second pass is even more difficult. It's a full in, back out. Double back with a full twist. Pull in, back out. Ooh, little problem there, under-rotated. That should cost him a couple tenths of a point. But again, now he's using that skill on his second pass, so it's much more difficult. There's a split showing flexibility. Press to a handstand. You must hold a press for at least 2 seconds. Plenty of time there. Now his third pass, he'll do a handspring, full twisting walkover. It's kind of an original skill. Very nicely done. There's the bell indicating 50 seconds. There's 20 seconds in which to complete his routine now. There's his dismount, round off back handspring, double tuck somersault. Pretty fine routine for Jim Hartung.
Jim Hartung, whose hallmark has been consistency through the years. He's been a member of the U.S. national team since 1977. Winds up with a mark of 9.70 and a combined score of 19.50 in the floor exercise. All right, here he is, Li Ning, the new all-around champion. And he will carry in a mark of 9.90, the highest that any competitor earned during the all-around phase. So if he can duplicate that feat, he should be able to pick up the gold medal. Let's see.
Well, Al, you said the highest all-around score. This is also the highest tumbler in the competition. Now watch his mount. He really gets up in the air. He does a full in, back out, kicks out of it. Beautiful. Now his second pass. Again, watch the height. Round off back handspring, pike double back somersault. Little step for under rotation, but he's really up in the air. Look how stylish the Chinese are. Phenomenal. Watch this. Flare on the floor. Right up through a handstand. Pirouette. Beautiful skill showing flexibility. Now here's his press to a handstand. At this point in your routine, you really have to be careful because you get some momentum going, and then you go to a press handstand, which is a very still move, and sometimes you fall out of the handstand. There's his third tumbling run. Pike side. And now he'll set up for his dismount by using a scale, showing balance, getting a little rest in the corner. Again, watch the difficulty and watch the height on this young man. Up in the air, stuck the dismount. Beautiful routine for Li Ning.
The all-around champion, seeking a gold medal in the floor exercise. And really no visible flaws there.
For 19 years old, Al, it's incredible how strong these young Chinese are. Here's another look at that first tumbling pass. It's a full in back out, takes it up nice and high, kicks out upside down for a near perfect landing. Beautiful.
And there's his score. It's a 9.90, matching his mark from the all-around. A total of 19.80 for Li Ning. He's in terrific shape now. Yuri Korlev of the Soviet Union, who won the World All-Around Championship last year and also won the gold medal in the floor exercise, needs a 9.95 in this routine to tie Li Ning for the top spot, a perfect 10, and he would clinch a gold medal.
Well, Al, if anyone can do it, Korlev can do it. Watch his mount. He does a double layout somersault. Very nicely executed. That's 2 somersaults in a straight body position. Extremely difficult. Just press to a handstand. And now watch his second pass. Here's where the originality and difficulty comes in. He does a handspring double front somersault. 2 somersaults to a forward roll. Little split leap there. No real deduction so far. He's got a 10 going. Handspring layout, front somersault. And now watch, he does the flare on the floor as well. Right up through a handstand here. I tell you, so far he's got a 10. There's a backward roll extension. And now all he has left is a dismount. If he can stick a dismount, he can score it. A Y scale. Round off back handspring. Full in back out. Step on the line, but I didn't see a line judge raise his hand.
Neither did I. He was very definitely on the line. And that would really be the only deduction. The only visible deduction.
He took a little hop forward. We'll see what he comes up with.
Yuri Korlev, who needs a 9.95 to tie for first place. Perfect 10 for undisputed possession at first.
Well, let's take another slow motion look at part of his routine. Here's a round off, back handspring. There's that dismount, full in, back out. Now you have to take in the difficulty into consideration. He landed on the line.
And there it is. It's a 9.9. So he falls just shy of tying Li Ning. And he's in second place with a 9.9 here and a total of 19.75.
You're allowed to touch the line, but you're not allowed to go outside of the line. So I think that's why they didn't deduct.
Yuri Korlev of the Soviet Union second, and a tie for third between Tong Fei of China and Nobuyuki Kajitani of Japan. Here's Yuri Korlev of the Soviet Union. Now, the score he carries in 9.85 equals that carried in by Li Ning. They're the 2 leaders as we begin the final phase now on the rings.
Well, this will be an interesting competition because they both dismount with a triple back somersault, and I think the one who hits the dismount is going to win. There's a kip to an immediate cross. Now he'll pull out of the cross. Added difficulty there. Straight arm bent body press to a handstand, keeping the rings very still. Now here's another strength move, an inverted cross. He bails out of that to a straight arm shoot to a handstand. Now he picked up a little bit of swing there. That'll cost him a 10th. There's a back uprise, inlocate through to a back uprise handstand. Killed the swing a little bit. And now here comes his triple back somersault. There's a dislocate through to triple back somersault. 1, 2, 3. Stuck the landing. Boy, he is pleased with that routine.
Yuri Korlev.
Thinking right now, maybe I can take one event away from Li Ning. Okay, here's a slow motion look at that dismount. First, we'll see him bail through a handstand. And now here comes the triple back somersault. Pulls very high. 1, 2, 3, and nails the landing. And there's the smile. Very excited about that routine. That should come up with about a 9.9.
A 9.9 for Korolev, giving him a total of 19.75. Jim Hartung, hopeful of winding up with perhaps a bronze medal, carries in a score of 9.65.
He had some trouble in the preliminaries on the rings. He slipped. He said that the rings were slippery and he couldn't really perform his normal routine. But this is a very strong event for Jim, and hopefully he can hang right in there for the bronze medal. To pull to an inverted hang, kips to an immediate plunge. He added a strength element in his routine, which is an inverted cross that will be coming up pretty soon. There's a bailout to a handstand there. Here's the inverted cross he's using. Very nicely done. Through to a kip L. No swing in the rings. Now here's his press to a handstand. A straight arm, straight body press. Doing very well so far. Bail to a handstand. Through the dislocate position. Little arch on the back there. Well controlled. Bail out to a reverse giant handstand. And now his dismount. Hopefully he'll add his double twisting double. Nope, half in, half out. He must still be slipping a little bit, but a great routine for Jimmy.
Pretty solid for Jim Hartung.
Here's a slow motion look at Jimmy's dismount. Now normally he does a double twisting double, but again he's having some trouble with the rings. Pulls up, does a half in, half out, which is a double back with a full twist, and he really fights for a good landing.
Jim Hartung at 9.85. Crowd is whistling. I think they feel the judges are being overly generous. Here's Tong Fei, who carries in a mark of 9.80. He needs a 9.95 to tie Yuri Korolev for first place.
Well, he's extremely strong on the rings. There's a lot of strength moves. He's very solid, so let's see if he can pull it out. There's an inlocate to a straight arm back upright handstand. Very still with the rings. Still forward handstand. Picked up a little swing. Forward giant. Here's an inverted cross. Right through to a whippet cross. Solid, holding it for a long time. Inlocates forward to a kip L. Now here's his press to a handstand, which is a straight arm bent body press. He does a double twisting double. Just dislocate through to a double twisting double. Little step forward, but a good routine.
Tong Fei of China would not appear to have the mark necessary to move into a tie with Korolev, and that's going to leave it up to Li Ning. 9.85 is the score for Tong Fei. That's a total of 19.65, and that moves him for the moment into second place. Competition was held earlier. Li Ning won it, and here's the way we called his routine at the time. All right, here is Li Ning of China. He has already won the floor exercise. He carries in the best mark from the preliminary round, 9.90, and he will clinch a medal, a gold medal here with a 9.80.
And watch him go after this routine. He swings very stretched. There's a Magyar spindle on the end of the horse. No form breaks. There's a back more up to the pommel. Back more, immediate back more. Extreme difficulty here. Should break into a scissor. Scissor with a half turn all the way to a handstand. There's his flare. Very nice hip movement. Stretching. Pushing right up, hop. The crowd is already into his routine. And right to a handstand. Another 9.9 or a 10.
And that routine was worth a 9.95 for Lee, who won the pommel horse with a total of 19.85. Yuri Korolev of the Soviet Union finished second. Bogdan Makus of the Soviet Union was third. All right, here is Li Ning of China. He carries in a mark of 9.85. He's already won the first two events. With a 9.9, he would tie for the gold medal here. A 9.95, he would win it outright.
19-year-old young man, I tell you, he is phenomenal. Watch some of the strength moves he has on the rings. There's an inlocate through to a kip, straight body plunge, holds it for the 2 full seconds, drops down into a cross. There's a kip. Now watch this, a straight body, straight arm press to a handstand. Very difficult. Most of the gymnasts use a bent body straight arm press. There's a straight body press. No ring swing so far. There's a shoot to a handstand. Looks like he just might take another event. Reverse giant to a handstand. Now all he has left is his triple back somersault. He can nail it. There's a dislocate through to a 1, 2, 3. Another landing. Great routine for Li Ning.
Well, if Korolev got a 9.90, that has to be a 10.
Crowd is going crazy. They're loving it.
Li Ning won the all-around championship, won the 4 exercise, won the pommel horse.
Oh, they want him to take another bow. They're still clapping.
Score isn't up yet, but the way it looks, at worst, he'll tie Korolev at worst. He needs a 9.90 for that, and a 9.95 is his mark, and that's good enough to win it outright. He's 3 for 3.
The crowd wanted a 10. Let's take another look at that fantastic dismount. Now he sets his dismount up by going through the handstand position. He pulls off the bottom extremely hard, pulls right into the first somersault, pulls around for the second, and lands the third. Beautiful dismount.
Li Ning dominating this meet, establishing himself as the early favorite for the 1984 Olympic Games. He's the winner in the rings event, with Yuri Korolev finishing second and Tong Fei third. Plenty of action still to come from the
preliminary score. So now, let's go back to the Men's World Gymnastics Championship. Our commentators, Al Michaels and Kurt Thomas. World Cup, of course.
Well, you know, Kurt, this sport seems to share a lot with sports like baseball, football, basketball, in the sense that to be a champion, to be good at what you do, you simply have to be able to execute the fundamentals the right way.
Well, in gymnastics, everything is done by progression. You start with a very easy or basic skill, and you develop to the more difficult skills. Today, I had the opportunity to work one of the essential moves in gymnastics, the handstand. When learning the handstand, it's best to start on the floor exercise. This is considered a balance and a strength skill. This particular skill takes a lot of time to master, and it's important on all the events because it relates to every event. There's a swing to a handstand on the parallel bars. You can also press to a handstand. There's a straight arm bent body press to a handstand. Most of the skills on parallel bars are done through this position. Now I'll show you a series after this VC, lowering down to a VC. Here's a series of skills done through that handstand position. There's a Diamondov, a stutz, which is a half-turn release, very common skill on the parallel bars, another Diamondov, and another stutz. In this competition, you'll even see that handstand being done on a pommel horse. It's required on the still rings to press to a handstand and also swing to a handstand. In the high bar competition, the handstand skill is very important. Every time a giant swing is performed, the gymnast moves through the handstand position. Like the handstand, most basic skills in gymnastics relate to all the other events. So for all you beginners out there, take your time in learning the basics and stress the fundamentals.
Bogdan Makut's of the USSR. Preliminary score was a 9.85, and he's in contention for a medal. Let's see what he can do on the high bar.
This is a great event for Bogdan. He dismounts with a triple back somersault, has 2 release moves, 2 very, very difficult release moves. Mounts with a stem to a handstand, immediate stalder, reverse blind change. Now here's his first release move, a front catch, good night. He fell off the bar.
Well, that's why they have spotters there.
Coach stepped in and really caught him. Continue his routine now. There's a pirouette to one arm, immediate roll to inverted giants. Now we'll hop out of this and do his next release, hopefully a little closer. Fly away with a half twist, regrasp, hip half turn. Now here comes his triple back somersault. 1, 2, 3, great landing. Tough break for Bogdan.
Well, it's the type of thing that if you're around long enough in this sport, you have to expect from time to time. Unfortunately, it comes in the biggest meet of the year, the World Cup, as Makut falls off the bar. Here it is again.
Well, the problem Bogdan had was he just released the bar a little too early, which caused him to carry away from the bar, and fortunately his coach is there to spot him. Now, there is a deduction for that. You see the score there of 9.4. There's an additional deduction for your coach catching you when you fall.
Here's Yuri Korolev of the Soviet Union. His final event of the day comes in with a mark of 9.85.
The pressure's on because he's going to have to hit a good routine here. He has two release moves. He has a reverse hecht followed by an immediate reverse hecht. Extremely difficult because usually when you come out of the first one, here it comes. It's one-arm giant. Now, reverse hecht. Immediate. Ooh! That's what I was talking about. Extremely difficult because when you come out of the first one, you have a little too much momentum. It's hard to set up the tap for the second one.
So both of the Soviet gymnasts, Makut and Korolev, have fallen off the high bar today.
Well, it's wide open now, and this gives our Peter Vidmar a good chance to really come up in the ranks here. Remounts the bar. Kip. Giant. Looks like he's just going to move into his inverted giants. Hops out. Ooh, another break there. Another 2/10 when he hopped out. There's his front. Another release move. Having some trouble getting ready for his dismount, which is a double layout somersault with a full twist. And he sticks it. Tough break for him.
Well, both Makut and Korolev have taken themselves out of contention, surprisingly.
Well, here's a slow motion look at that break. He does a one-arm giant to set it up. Now here's his reverse hecht. Gets a little too far over the bar and just can't hold on.
Korolev with a mark of 9.40, giving him a total of 19.25. Now Tong Fei of China, a 9.90 was his mark in the preliminary round. And this is boiling down to a battle between the two Chinese gymnasts.
Well, watch him go after this routine. He's got a super routine. He does stem stalder there. Let's go with one arm here. There's a reverse giant with one arm. Pirouette over the top. Another one-arm giant. Now watch him switch hands and do a one-arm giant with the other arm. Here comes his release move, the reverse hecht. Very well executed. The kip. Now he jams into his inverted giants. No deduction so far. One inverted giant over the bar. Now his dismount, which is a double twisting double, takes a big tap. Two twists, two flips, and he nails it. Beautiful routine for Tong Fei.
Incredible height on the dismount.
And again, the crowd loves the Chinese. Here's another look at that dismount. Takes a giant over the top, and he just got a perfect 10. Takes a big tap here. Does a double twisting double, two somersaults, two twists, and he just nails the landing.
Tong Fei's total is 19.90. That'll put a lot of pressure on Li Ning, who's coming up shortly. But next up will be Peter Vidmar of UCLA. He talked about this meet earlier.
You know, first of all, I'm really honored just to be here. There's so many great gymnasts, and it's a really neat feeling just to be on the same floor with them. And I'm trying some new things that I've worked on over the summer. My pommelish routine will be a lot more difficult, and I'll be doing a new combination on the high bar. So hopefully I'll be able to hit those and do well.
As Peter gets ready for his mount, he's still in contention for a medal. His preliminary score on the high bar was 9.80.
And you'll see that combination right at the beginning of his routine. Here's a backup rise, free hip, cow hop, immediate stalder. Now here it comes. Here's a hecht vault. And he does immediate flyaway half twist. Good, nice catch. Missed that in warm-ups. It's a stupid inverted giants. Had a little trouble with that one skill in warm-up. There's his front catch out of inverted giants. Peter is cooking. It's a pirouette over the top. All he has left is his dismount. A little stalder to set it up. Does a full twisting flyaway, double flyaway, and sticks the landing. Great routine for Peter.
Well, we're looking at a fellow who could conceivably win a bronze medal. A 9.9 would put him behind only Tong Fei, with Li Ning still to come.
Great routine for Peter. Here's his coach, Makoto Sakamoto, congratulating him. Chinese congratulating. There's A.B. Grossfeld. I'm sure he's pretty excited. The crowd is loving it. Tong Fei there patting him on the back. Here's another look at a portion of Peter's routine. Here's his front regrasp, slow motion, out of inverted giants. Does a kip, and now he'll prepare for his dismount. He'll pirouette over the top and set the dismount up. And the crowd hates it. He just scored a 9.9, and they changed it to a 9.95. That's going to put him in probably third place.
Second for the moment, but Li Ning still to come. A total of 19.75 for Vidmar. Peter, 21 years old, still has eligibility remaining at UCLA. All he can do right now, however, is sit around and wait to see if he'll pick up a medal in this event. As far as medals are concerned here, the dominant man has been this one, Li Ning of China, who will be next up on the high bar as he seeks a 5th gold. Final competitor of the meet now, Li Ning, needs a 9.95 to win it outright, and a 9.90 would tie him with Tong Fei. He comes in with a mark of 10. He scored a 10 on the high bar during the all-around competition, which he won.
Well, I think he can get a 9.95. I think he can even get a 10 if he just hits his routine. He's got a beautiful high bar routine. Here goes his last event. There's his reverse giant with one arm. Comes over the bar, grabs it. Now here's his release move, a reverse hack. No deduction. Oh, a little problem on a kip. A very basic move that might put Peter Vidmar, keep him in second place. And now for his dismount. Triple back somersault. 1, 2, 3. That's about a 3/10 deduction in my book by spreading your legs and bending your knees on a kip like that. Let's see what they do to him.
And if they take off 3/10, that would be enough to give Peter Vidmar a silver medal and vault him in front of Li Ning. But let's wait and see. Li Ning, who carried in a mark of 10, obviously subpar here as we have another look.
But it just seems like he lost concentration on this particular skill. It's a real basic skill. Leaned over a little bit, spread his legs and bent his knees. And that to me is a real loss of concentration. Stoops into inverted giants here. Gets his back to the bar, and that's a requirement.
And a 9.90 is the mark, and that one came gift-wrapped. The judges, no doubt, influenced somewhat by his prior performances today. Li Ning and Tong Fei thus share the gold medal in the high bar. Peter Vidmar of the United States finishes third to take the bronze. So Li Ning wins 3 gold medals outright and shares 2 others today at the World Cup. In just a moment, I'll be joined by Gordon Mannix, and we'll have highlights of the women's individual finals. Was held prior to that, and the competitors carried in half their mark. Julianne McNamara in the vault scored 9.75 in the all-around, and here in the finals of the individuals, she scored 9.9 with this vault.
Takes a strong run, gets a pretty good vault in the air, but does overstep it just a tad.
And she wound up with a bronze medal. Olga Bicharova with a 9.9 here, tied for the gold.
And she just nails it.
She shared first place with her countrywoman, Natalia Yurchenko, whose mark here was 9.9. So the 2 Soviets tied for first place, with McNamara finishing third. On the uneven bars, a great routine turned in by Maxi Gnauf to win it, a 9.95.
Had to give Maxi new life. She scored so poorly in the other events and came in maybe as the most touted gymnast in the world.
On the balance beam, very close competition, but this 9.90 performance by Yurchenko won her another gold medal.
And Yurchenko is bringing a new look to women's gymnastics.
And yet another first-place finish for the Soviets as Olga Bicharova, the darling of the crowd, took the floor exercise.
And proved without a doubt that what happened in Moscow at the World Championships was no fluke. This young lady did very well in this competition, and I'm sure is looking forward to 1984 and the Los Angeles.
Competition in everywhere.